So speaking to the part of shared housing, so what I see is kind of the same kind of aggregate thinking that I bring to my other work, is we need to change a lot of things, and it's actually pretty pragmatic. We need to learn how to live in our neighborhoods. We need to alter our neighborhoods, our houses, our neighborhoods, our economics, so that people can stay where they are and live where they are and get older. So a big part of that, and I am in real estate, so I'm interested in the housing side, a big part of that is modifying homes, building accessory dwelling units so that people can stay in their properties but live in homes that work for them, modifying homes so people can live together in homes and really utilize properties that are really underutilized now. And part of that is, as a nation, we need to relearn how to live together. We have this whole mystique of the individual, so people don't really know how to live well together. So that's why I love the Let's Share Home piece, because it brings in the security and the safety and the methods for people to come together and live well. We've kind of forgotten how to do that as a society.
Andrew Weil said that isolation is fatal. And it's now been tested by scientists, especially a group in Chicago. They came out with studies on loneliness and found that if someone perceives that they're lonely, even if they aren't actually lonely, but they feel isolated, it's the equivalent risk on your brain's health as if you were a heavy smoker or if you were obese. In fact, one of the studies recently showed that your risk of Alzheimer's doubles if you feel like you're isolated. Shared housing is just the opposite. When you're working with shared housing, we see that as a brain health intervention, which will actually someday be tested and proven to lower your risk of Alzheimer's because you're engaging with others. Theories that we talk about concerning the engagement theory of brain health are the next wave of cognitive interventions.
The idea of a profile is kind of two parts. One part is to create your own profile. Who are you? What do you want?
what matters to you when you come home from work or back from school or wherever you're coming from, or if you just live in the house all the time as an elder. What do you want to have happening around you? What kind of people do you want to have around you? But you start by saying, what kind of a person are you? What is your basic way of looking at the world? And how make that specific. I think a lot of us get through our lives without quite doing that specifically, and in a family you just kind of roll with the punches. Now you get to make some choices about who you want to be in a shared housing situation, and who you'd like to have the other person who's sharing the housing with you, or other people sharing with you, be.
We live in a culture that has dictated to us our value comes through things. The more stuff we have, the more value we have. Unfortunately, just the opposite is true. But we have gotten so used to accumulating stuff, whether we buy it ourselves or someone gives it to us, or we inherit it from our families, and we have become burdened down and overwhelmed by our things. I use the term stuffication to describe a condition that is epidemic in our society these days. We are suffocating from all of the things in our lives. This is not a healthy way to live. And people get depressed. They feel hopeless. They feel burdened with the responsibility of these things, and yet they don't want to let go because they believe if they do, they'll lose their value. So part of what we have to do is shift our perspective and shift our focus to realize that that is not where our value comes from. Our things do not determine our health and well-being, nor our satisfaction with our lifestyle. So when we can start to let go, and not just let go of stuff, but let go of the idea that we need all that stuff in our lives to be happy, when we know that's not true, once we can start the process of letting go, we open up all kinds of doors. We can then experience the freedom that comes with not being overwhelmed by things, by not having to decide where we live because we need space for all our stuff. That's what brings in the lightness and the brightness in our lives, and opens up a world of possibilities that we did not know beforehand when we were burdened with our stuff.